Hello, welcome once again to this tutorial. Now we'll be diving into responsive design, majorly on media queries. What are media queries and what is it used for? Media query is a conditional rule that lets your web page adapt its style based on things like the screen size, the width and height, then the device type, the screen, print, either the screen, the print, or the speech, and then the orientation type, which is the portrait and the landscape. That is to say, a media query makes your website responsive, looking good and working well across all devices. So over here in my browser, I have my H2 element and my P tag. So I can come here, I see it, the two. So I can decide to include my media query. So at media, here is at media rule. So I can say at media. Then when I talk of print, the print screen talk about the print screen. So you can have something like H2, which is the selector, and then I can have font size. I want my font size to be what? 20 pixels, and then color should be what? Blue. Color should be blue, and then that of P font size should be 10 pixels, and that of color should be this. So over there in my browser, remember I'm using print screen. So when I go to my print, so you see it here, my color is blue for H2, and then for P tag my color is this. I can quickly change the color to something that is visible, so I can make it red. So over there in my print scheme again, I can see my H1, H2 blue, and then my P element red. So the next one is the screen size, and we have the max width, we have the mean width. So here, this is called the conditional statement. That is, this must be met before any of this style will be applied. So here I said max width, meaning the maximum width. So I'm telling the browser that if the device screen exceed 750, let this not apply. But if it does not, let this apply. That is to say, from 750 and above, let this style not apply, or from 750 below, let it apply. For example, here in my browser, so you see, it have not exceed the 750, which is the condition. So I can see this apply because here is at 543. So, but once I exceed the width, let's say from here, see, I have already exceeded the width. The width is 750, but I have here 780. So the style doesn't apply. But once I'm within the width, the estimated width, the style will be applied, right? So that is the opposite of what? Mean width. When you talk of mean width, that is the opposite of max width. So mean width says from this 750 and above, let my style apply, but anything below, let my style not apply. So you can see here, so it's not yet within the rate, so that's why the style is not applied until when I see the 750, then you can see the style apply, just the opposite of what? The max width. So the another type is the one we call the orientation. The other type, which is screen of all, but that one is also the same thing with the normal max width, something like this. Max width, let's say the same 750 pixels. This also applies to all screen, whether print screen, speech, or the normal mobile screens. So we have another one, which is the orientation landscape. This is when the width is larger or is bigger than the height. So here I say once the width is larger than the height, apply this style. So at this place, you see that the width is larger than the height. This is the width, the horizontal axis, the x-axis, and this is the height, the vertical axis, the y-axis. So now, once the width is small, so here now the width is not bigger than the height. You see the style doesn't apply until the width is bigger than the height. Now the style applies. So when you talk of the portrait, portrait is what? The opposite of landscape. So here now the height exceeds the width. Once the height is greater than the width, let the style apply. Otherwise, let the style doesn't apply. So here now you see that the height is not greater than the width. So now here now the height is greater than the width. So when I adjust this, you see the height is not greater than the width. That's why the style doesn't apply. But once I adjust it so that the height will be greater than the width, then the style will apply. So now let's quickly dive into a small quick project I did. So I will apply the media query there. So we have here, when I open this, I have something like this, right? So let me add my media query. So quickly open my dev tool. I have something like this. So I can notice that this is floating. This is not compatible with mobile devices. So what I'm going to do is that I will go to my styling. So here I link it to my external file. So here is my external file. So I can sell my CSS. Now let me add my media query. So I can have my media query at media, let's say max width. You can make use of max width, you can make use of min width depending on the one you want to use. So I can make use of max width to be what? 700 pesos. 700 pesos. I can say dot container. Dot container is the one that is housing everything, something like this. So I can give it a width of what? Width of 100%. Now I can say the overflow X to be hidden. Then I can say the padding. I can give it padding of what? Padding of 10 pixels. So over here again, I can come here and see, okay, the next one is my header and it contains the H1 and the input. So when I go to my browser, I can see something like this. My H2 or H1, sorry, is big, so I need to reduce the size. So I can come here and say my header H1 to give it font size of what? I say font size to be 20 pesos. So you see now the font is reduced. So now over here in my inputs, if I click on it, you notice that there is an external border, or I can call it a marginal line or marginal border that appears. So if I want to remove it, I can quickly come here and say something like header inputs, outline none, and say dot main width 100%, first direction, column. So here in my dot main, you can see here is my dot main, and this is it in my CSS. It is a class name for what? Section. So here I gave it width of 800 pixels. That is a default width. So now coming here, I now make it to be 100%, so it will suit the width of the available device. So now if I go over there to my browser, I can see how it is. It's not taking shape, right? It's not taking shape. So I can decide to, touch this section. So here I have this as my what? Okay, the div, class name of days. So I can decide to come here. I said, okay, this is what I gave it on my normal styling. So I can decide to add it to my media query, whereby I will say here should be flex wrap to be wrap, then gap, and give it gap of what? Let's say 20%, 20 pesos, and I can give it justify content of what? Center. So here I have something like this. So I can decide to remove this border from my container, because here At default, I gave it border. So I can decide to come here and put border none, and say it disappears. So here, you see, it can be compatible to many screens. So another way you can use to test your mobile responsiveness is through the extension called Mobile Stimulator. So if you don't have yours installed in your browser, you can install it. So when I come here, I click on my mobile stimulator, so I can see how it is. So here I can choose many mobile devices. I can choose this. So let me open it. So you can see how it is. I can choose different mobile screens. And this is how we can apply our media query mobile responsiveness to our web page. And with this, you have come to the end of this tutorial. See you in the next video.